Prison is not a nice place, generally speaking, so it makes sense that nobody wants to stay put in their cells. In video games, this is even more apparent as characters will try anything and everything to escape incarceration, from methods mundane to the melodramatic. In this video, we're going to be looking at Prison Architect 2 and 4 other video game jailbreaks. Prisons are an institution that benefit all society, preventing those bad seeds from running amok and restricting murderers to non-murderous activities. Which brings us to Prison Architect 2. This building simulator puts you in the position to make a real change to the penal system as you decide how harsh or humorous your constructs can be. More than containment, your focus is correction, teaching your inmates to walk the straight and narrow. By keeping them happy, you keep them calm, and while they're calm, you have time to locate and block all the escape routes. Fail to keep your charges in check, and you may end up dealing with disastrous consequences like rioting or the laundry not being done. You can manage your prison as though it were your personal toy box and develop your improvements as you see fit, whether it be the business side in cutting costs or installing a leisure centre to contribute to the prisoner's well-being. There is a free mode and a career campaign to play through. The developers wanted this to be a game for everyone and anyone to play, and pulled out all the stops to make this title so player-friendly. It's just criminal. With you in charge, our citizens are certain to sleep a little safer in their beds.
There's the last of them. You are to stand trial.
In the world of Spira, the law of the land is laid down by the Maesters of Yemen, religious figureheads dedicated to maintaining harmony in a world of sin. In this instance, however, sin refers to a giant psychic mega death whale on a never-ending rampage of destruction. On a holy pilgrimage to obtain the final Aeon, the only summon powerful enough to defeat Sin, Summoner Yuna agrees to marry Maester Seymour for social political reasons. As it turns out, it was all a ploy to get close enough to him to send him to the far plane. Turns out, he is a ghost and refuses to move on, which is not okay. Yuna and co. arrested for apparent attempted murder, she presents her case to the other Maesters only to discover that the whole cloister of them are huge hypocrites.
Maester?
Send the dead?
And also ghosts. To keep their secret, Yuna and her guardians are sentenced to suffer in the Via Purifico. Dumped in separate locations, the group's only chance of survival is to regroup and defeat the guards and monsters standing and swimming in their way. The scariest of which is this bad boy. Ironically, this beastie is also a ghost of a creature you previously defeated. Hack/spell repeat.
Ward us all, look at what he's done.
Yes, he's killed the Empress.
Every day is a sad day in Dunwall. If the criminals running rampant in the streets don't get you, the rats definitely will. The city is under assault from a pandemic of rats. Empress Jessamine Coldwin has sent her bodyguard to seek aid from the neighbouring countries, who upon hearing this, promptly decided to place them under lockdown. Shortly after his return with this news, the Empress is assassinated before his very eyes. Discovered with her lifeless body in his arms and covered in her blood, Corvo is falsely accused of her murder and sent to Coldridge Prison. Corvo spends the next 6 months incarcerated, where he is persistently asked politely for a confession.
Sign the confession and let me give you the rights to put your spirit at ease.
Sorry, he is persistently tortured for a confession. On the night before his execution, he receives a last meal from an anonymous friend, with the means to avoid his final farewell. Once the cell is open, the method of escape is yours to choose. You can adopt a stealthy approach, doing your best to avoid detection by stealthing the shadows and some well-timed sneaking, or silently assassinate your way through your jailers. Your other option is an all-out brawl with the coolest switch sword ever conceived. Either way, that's a lot of bodies to hide. Find some explosives to blow your way out before taking to the sewers and on to freedom. Bad smelling freedom, but freedom nonetheless.
As you can see, the creature has stopped its rampage in the center of the park. Now that we can have a good look, we can confirm this is not the same reptilian creature that recently terrorized Manhattan.
Nothing does the trick quite like a superhero when you need a villain locked behind bars. As you may remember from The Amazing Spider-Man, Kurt Connors, aka the Lizard, attempted to transform all of New York into lizard people. Now, safely behind bars, Oscorp have taken over and continued his research, applied it to other animals, and accidentally created a lethal virus. As fate would have it, Dr. Connors is the only one who might be able to concoct a solution. One tiny issue: he's been locked up in an asylum since his freak out. Spidey decides that for the greater good, the best thing to do is break him out of incarceration to assist in combating this epidemic.
I'm gonna get you out of here.
Really? Spider-Man breaking out the lizard from his cage? Who's the crazy one here?
Before they can both boldly stroll to freedom, there are 1 or 2 security measures that they need to web up first. As it always goes, however, the old Parker luck kicks in.
This looks like the one. Connor's getting time off for good behavior. Hey, get away from there!
The system overloaded, it's a free-for-all to see who can escape first. Now Spider-Man has to balance getting Connors out while keeping all the other convicts in. Talk about webbing up the works.
Warden, in the name of the Regent, I am placing you under arrest for the murder of Rendon Howe and his men-at-arms.
Since the conception of crime, there have been both jails and dungeons to lock away those we don't agree with. Sorry, break the law. That's what I meant. In Dragon Age Origins, the law is broken all the time. Being in the middle of a darkspawn uprising known as the Blight, you'd think this would give your character some legal leeway, especially considering that you are a Grey Warden, one of the select few distinctly equipped to handle this specific situation. Unfortunately, political unrest and civil war do tend to murk the waters a bit when it comes to right and wrong. After receiving a request for aid from the Queen of Denerim to free her from captivity, you and your party charge valiantly ahead. Yet her guards see the situation in a slightly different light and view you as kidnappers rather than liberators. Failure to defeat the guards sees you taken to Fort Draken, stripped of your weapons and all your clothing.
You look like you've been dragged through 10 kinds of crap, friend. What did you do?
Nice loincloth. You must either escape the cell yourself by tricking the guards, or wait for your comrades to bust you out by whatever methods their imagination conceives.
We have come to perform last rites for a condemned prisoner.
What for? Mother Augustine is already here.
Mother Augustine is but one frail woman. There is much praying to be done now. 'Twould be too great a burden for just one priest.
Thank you for watching our video on Prison Architect 2 and other jailbreaks in gaming. If you liked it, please remember to click the thumbs up, the like and subscribe buttons. Remember to check out the other videos on our channel, and until next time, keep gaming. Bye for now. Prisons are an institution that benefit all society. I'm trying to remember what the benefits are. Prisons are a benefit? Nope. Yes they are. No they're not. Yes they are. No, shut up! However, inmates continue to come up with cleverer and crazier ways to finish the sentences early. This is how tired I am.